Testing, testing. All right, the levels is good. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Are we live? Are we live? Sorry about that. Sorry about the little bit of the delay. Technical difficulties. All right. Are we good? Let me see. All right. We live. We live. The sound is good. The audio is good. You know, going live because this is probably faster than me doing a video because then I have to render it and upload it and all that weird stuff. This is probably the path of least resistance. But anyway, welcome my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Your only friend is YouTube Streets, Puertorock77. There we go. Hit the like button. If you're new and this is your first time here, hope you stick around, subscribe, all that good stuff. But we're going to get into it, okay? We're going to talk about the latest stuff, right? I wanted to talk Nintendo, but this is the urgency. Well, I'll make a video on Nintendo later on and stuff like that. But we're going to break this down. We're going to break this down today. I'll probably do a live today, and I'll probably do another live tomorrow to talk Nintendo and something else. But this one's going to be short, right? So, but instead of a recorded video, I think this is a little bit faster. And in case also, I will say also because of the engagement with the chat. I want to see if you guys have any questions. Like you want to ask me anything and stuff like that, right? But what I ask of you guys, if you can hit the like button and share this out. Hold on, let me also share this out. Let me do this real quick. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me one moment. Let me do this real quick. Let's see, real quick. I'm just doing another tweet. Live now come through. Just another tweet. They get people going through. Let me do this. All right, and one more. Okay, hold on. Give me a second real quick. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Give me one moment. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Boom. Boom. Shout out to Liquid Data. Thank you for the super chat. He says the topic is exactly why I DM'd you last night to get a hold of J Bar in persona. I see what you're saying. All right. And Glassdoor Gamer, Xbox has pent up rage. Oh, that ain't a lie. They're lashing out. Right. But let's talk about the topic at hand and stuff like that. I think, hey, Liquid, I think J Bar in persona gonna talk. And I saw what you tweet. I don't know if Sony has that, but we'll see. I mean, I guess we'll find out, right? Let's read this real quick, right? So that way everybody is in sync, because maybe not everybody in the chat is in sync with what's going on, right? So From Bloomberg, specifically Jason Schreier, Sony cancels 2 more PlayStation projects in broader retreat. The company told subsidiaries Bend and Bluepoint it will work with them to determine their next steps and minimize job losses. Oh, shit. Oh boy, oh boy. Sony Group Corp's PlayStation has canceled previously unannounced games at 2 of its top subsidiaries, the company said Thursday. The games at Oregon-based Bend Studio and Texas-based Bluepoint Games were both live service projects designed to draw recurring revenue from players. A company spokesman confirmed the cancellations. In a statement, the spokesman said the 2 games were canceled following a recent review and that PlayStation will continue making both online and single-player games. Either studio will be shuttered. Ben and Bluepoint are highly accomplished teams who are valued members of the PlayStation Studios family, and we are working closely with each studio to determine what are their next projects, the spokesperson said. Over the last few years, PlayStation has invested big in live service games, which are typically multiplayer games with microtransactions and other ways to get money out of players for months and years after they launch. The games are risky ventures, but can be lucrative when they're successful. For Sony, the strategy has led to 1 hit in 2024's Helldivers and success in several flops, including Concord, which was removed from sales less than 2 weeks after it was released. The company has also canceled several other live service games over the last few years, including one based on Spider-Man, Bloomberg has reported. Sony didn't say if the cancellations will lead to job cuts. In a memo to staff reviewed by Bloomberg, the company said it's working closely with Ben and Bluepoint to determine what are the next projects and plan to do everything we can to ensure there is minimal business impact. The last 2 years have been difficult for the video game industry, which has seen tens of thousands lose their jobs in the wake of bad bets and slower growth. All right. Shout out to the Brain. He says, thank you for being a member. 31 months. He says, Puertorock, what's up? Sony should hire you. Facts. I don't want to say I told y'all so, but I told y'all so. Is that fair? I mean, it's. I told y'all. In fact, a lot of the things that was my concern from the very get-go about this live service strategy was Sony taking single-player devs to make this work. Meaning they take the devs, right, the first-party studios that you could say brought back PlayStation back into the #1 spot, right? Because PlayStation 3, PlayStation 3 was, you could say, L, right? At least from a financial perspective, right? They made no profit that gen, but they relied on their first-party single-player games to truly break them out of that rut. And they doubled down on that strategy during PlayStation 4. They took these studios. The studios created this great single-player content. And those single-player content... And Sony continued with, money hatting and supporting and providing funds to create even more single-player content, right? And that's what brought back PlayStation 4. And everybody's like, oh, snap. PlayStation 4 dominated. And Sony's like, you know what? We're going to focus a lot of energy on live service at the cost of not furthering, because that's always been my big complaint, furthering the PlayStation studios that got you there. But instead, most of the money was on this live service initiative. Right here. So we got Hola Moco. He says this in Spanish. He said, hermano, te quiero mucho. Te deseo lo mejor para ti y para tu familia. Sigue luchando, mi hermano. Latino. Soy Chileano. Oh, so he's Chilean, right? You know what I'm saying? So he has mad love for me, right? He's wishing me the best for me and my family. And he says, keep fighting the good fight. My fellow Latin brother. Right? So that's what he said, man. I truly appreciate that. Speaking in our father's language. Gracias, amigo. Stuart Stokes with the super chat. Need to hear Boomstick's opinion on this. Whatever he says, bet on the opposite. Literally a reverse Nostradamus. All right. Y'all doing things. Shout out to Wandering Dutch, man. Thank you, man. Fellow global Marine brother. You know what I'm saying? Out there, fellow Marine brother. All right. Let's go back to what I was saying. I said this was a bad strategy from the start. And one of my concerns was Sony simply was just going to wave their hands and say, hey, all you guys that put PlayStation on the map for single-player games, we want you guys to do live service strategy, right? And that's exactly what they did. They exactly did the laziest thing. Sure, they did other thing, maybe a little bit like Bungie. They bought Bungie. All right. The Concord Studio, Jade Raymond Studio. To me, that's where it should have been. Like if Sony wanted, if Sony's plan should have excluded their first party studios that put them on the map. That means Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Sony Band, Bluepoint, who else? Housemark. All those guys should not have been ever from the very start part of this plan, right? Of course, you have the other studios that naturally have a multiplayer component like GT7. It's a natural competitive racer, right? Even in Inception on the PS1, people used to race against each other side by side in a couch. So obviously that's a natural progression of multiplayer. Baseball, sports games has always been multiplayer centric, right? Whether it's couch co-op, then online, and now live service, that's natural. Things like that. So those things naturally evolve into that. They always been multiplayer, right? But the studio like Horizon, Guerrilla, right? The funny part is Guerrilla started out as a multiplayer studio, but they became more successful as a single player centric studio. It is what it is. Horizon Zero Dawn outsold all the kill zones combined. That should tell you, you know what? Guerrilla's future is single player. Let's just keep it there, right? I'm telling you, they should create. Shout out to Liquidator. I'm telling you, they should create the Triple P PlayStation Pilot Program. So Liquid, we were talking in the DMs last night, and he was wondering like if Sony has, and this is just a quick segue, not segue, but off topic. He was thinking that the Sony has any way where they can hear feedback from the community and pitch ideas to them, and I'm like, I don't think they do. I'm gonna hit up Barry and Persona because they know Sean Layden if he knows of anything like that. But I'm saying I don't think they do and stuff like that, right? But that would be a cool thing. But I would definitely tell them they would definitely hear a lot from me, bro. But that would be nice, right? But anyway, you all who've been following my podcast, you know I've probably been the biggest advocate for Sony not to do this, right? Absolutely not to do this, right? And I said it before. All they're going to do is take, especially for 12, I knew they had to take a good chunk of the single player development studios to make this work. And I knew it, right? And I said on a podcast, I warned J-Dub, I warned Extreme, I told these guys, they're going to do it, they're going to fail, and it's going to impact our single player games, right? Sony should have, somebody should have said, listen, if we're going to go this route, it cannot for any reason impact our single player development, because the single player development is what literally put us on the map. So we cannot stop that train. That train, in fact, we need to make that train better. It needs to be from a regular choo-choo train to a goddamn bullet train, right? If I was there working for Sony, hearing all this stuff, you know, probably the whole live service was something that, it was probably an idea that couldn't be stopped, right? Yoshida had this recent interview. I will talk about that later over the weekend. I need to see the full interview. I haven't got time to sit down. It's like a 2-hour interview, so I haven't got time to listen to the whole thing. But I've seen snippets, and one of the things was if he was still a part of first party, he would have resisted live service. I would have too, but that's probably would have been a thing that the company says, no, we're doing it. And I would have been like, fine, if we're going to do it, we have to do it separately, meaning we have to get studios that can be focused on that, but leave our current studios alone. We cannot stop our first party pipeline. We cannot stop the very thing that got us into the position to allow us to make live service game. That just doesn't make sense. Leave these studios alone. Let's get new studios, maybe third party studios or acquired studios that can help us with the live service vision, like they did with Bungie, okay. Like they did with Jade Raymond, okay. Like they did with Concord, fine. Who's doing Fair Games? That's Jade Raymond Studio, right? So Fair Games, Jade Raymond Studio, the studio that did Concord. All right, cool. We got Bungie. Bungie's doing 2 projects. Well, technically they're doing 1. They spun off Bungie developers to create a new studio for a new live service game. That's fine. Leave them alone. That's perfectly fine. But leave Naughty Dog, leave all these guys alone. If they really wanted Naughty Dog, Last of Us Online, I would have said we need to get another studio, and maybe Naughty Dog can oversee, but Naughty Dog proper are not going to be the ones to do this online. We're going to spin off a whole new studio. Not even spin off. Get a whole new studio. But we're not going to put this under Naughty Dog. It's going to be under another new studio that will do Last of Us Online live service. Naughty Dog, no, you're focusing on all the single player stuff. You got all that manpower. Focus on that. Maybe a few guys could supervise here and there, but we're not stopping this train. I would have not modified in any level the very train that got PlayStation to this point. Every studio, Bluepoint, Sony Band, Housemarque, you're all on single player. That is it. And if any of them volunteers for live service, first we'd be like, oh, you do realize though, you may not have the size to make any future games and stuff like that. Like I would be very, very weary of any of them thinking they're gonna pull off a live service. But that would have been me at best. That's the best case scenario. Complete split off. That way, if any of the studios fail their live service, which is a high odds, more often than not, live service games fail than succeed. For every one Marvel's Rivals, we have like 10 or 12 live service games that flop. For every one successful, you got multiple that fell, right? So separate it. And I'm not talking about budget, obviously all for the same budget, but at least if the studios fell, Bluepoint will still be on their way making a game. Somebody thought in Sony, somebody at Sony thought Bluepoint making a God of War live service game was a great idea. Someone greenlit that. Someone greenlit that from the start. Someone from the very start said, hey, Bluepoint. Or maybe somebody within Bluepoint. Well, somebody said, Bluepoint, God of War live service. Great idea, begin. Somebody said begin. Somebody greenlit to begin that project. Who the fuck said that? I want a name. I want a name. Like Jason Schreier, we need a name. You need to find out who actually said that, and that person needs to get punched in the face. That person needs a serious jaw check. Like straight jaw check. Who said that? Who is in their brain and said Bluepoint, God of War, live service game, great idea? Who? I need a name. I need a name on somebody thinking that's great. At a minimum, I believe Jim Ryan. Like, how? How did anyone, imagine me in a boardroom and I'm hearing people discussing this. I'm in the room or wherever they are at deciding this, and I'm listening. I raise my, I'm like, hold up. For one, God of War live service. This is what we're thinking. We're not thinking SOCOM. We're thinking God of War live service. This is what you think people want. And then we're going to put it in the hands of Bluepoint, who, let's be honest, they only have done remakes. Their expertise, their knowledge so far has been Shadow of Colossus remake, Demon Souls remake. So we're going to have them jump from that to managing live service. And then out of all the live service, it's God of War. Really, this is what we're doing. Yo, that shit is insane. Septic Sauce, fuck you and your condom. You asshole. Get your bitch ass in the goddamn fucking Discord so I can fuck you up. I fucking hate you. I hate you. I hate the food you eat. I hate the way you look. I hate your fucking hairstyle. All right? I just hate everything about you. I'm like DMX right now. I hate everything about you. Okay? I hate your live streams. I hate your fucking name. What the fuck is a Septic Sauce? All right? You sound like a fucking plumber. I hate everything about you. And if you don't stop this publisher war bullshit, cut it the fuck out. No one cares. Listen. Now, shout out to some me and guys going back and forth on Twitter. It's all love. It's all console war. It's all love. All right. It's all love, Habibi. Listen. Hey, and you tell Coach to shut the fuck up. He ain't built for this shit. Tell him stop throwing shots. All right? If he wants to war, we can war. Tell him don't fuck with me. Because I got like 10 years of fucking cap that he has that I can unload. Colt went from Xbox Series X is the best to fucking hoping Steam OS can save Xbox. Tell him to shut up. Now, anyway. But going back, shout out to Septis. Going back to whatchamacallit, this. This is how I knew Sony was doing this, right? Sony's at their best, right? When they really don't chase trends. I noticed that. If you notice, Sony's at their best when they're not really trying. Like Sony, we know copies a lot of stuff. They copy a lot of stuff. We've seen that. Sony likes to copy. But most of the stuff they copy, they suck at it. They're not really good at copying. They're really more good at setting their own vision for PlayStation and going in that direction, right? Take, for example, and I know everybody's going to say, I already know the common thing about PlayStation, right? Shout out to Ball Dante. Dante says, P-Rock, you are wrong. It's not about console wars. It's about publisher wars. I fell out. Nah, we're not doing publisher wars. I'm not doing that. You know, to me, this. I'm going to say this on just publisher wars. If you get involved in publisher wars, if that's what you guys do, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. If Xbox guys get involved in publisher wars, what you guys will end up doing is saying you are proud the other guy is fucking your wife better than you are. That's what you guys will be doing. You guys will be bragging that your wife is getting plowed better by another man than what you can do for yourself. So, nah, I'm not doing that. We're not doing publisher wars. If that's what y'all want to do, if you PlayStation guys wants to start doing publisher wars, if the time comes, I'm out of it. That's on y'all. My name is Paul, and that's on y'all. I'm to brag that the next man is plowing yours. That's what you're bragging about. Crazy. There's no way you can brag, my game is selling better on your console. What? No, I'm not doing that. No. Y'all can have that to yourselves. Glassdoor Gamer, where my EA fanboys at? They're coming after you, Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know, if we, you know, I don't know. That's a whole thing, right? But back to this. Sony's better, generally, when they do their own thing, in a way, when you notice it, right? Let's put it this way. Let me put it this way. One of the big things everybody's going to say is, but Puertorock is a business. I get it. It's a business, right? Oh, it's a business decision. Live service makes money, lots of money games. I get it. It's a business decision. But here's the thing. Everything they say and do is a business decision. Everything. Nothing's a charity. None of the decisions are charity. It's all business. When Sony said Rumble was last gen on the PS3 and took it away, that's a business decision. When Sony made the dildos, goddamn move controllers, business decision. When Sony started pushing 3D gaming, business decision. When Sony said, hey, let's put the cell processor, business decision. Everything's a business decision. Everything PlayStation does is a business decision. Everything. The question is it a good business decision or a bad business decision? Or mediocre? The Vita, using dedicated memory cards, business decision. All of that is business decisions. All of that. It's just whether or not it's a good business decision or bad. That's really what it comes down to it. So yes, I understand live service is a business decision. Yes, I understand that it could potentially bring money. But there are more failures than successes, right? So betting so much on live service, is that a good business decision or a bad business decision? Using your own first party single player developers to tackle this strategy. Was that a good business decision? No, it wasn't. It was not. My idea is much better. Just get new studios completely out of the lane of the single player. Let them do it. If they fail, it's failure. Got it. But we will still have a Bluepoint new title. Look at this. Bluepoint was doing live service God of War. They canceled it. Now they got nothing. It's 2025. Look at how crazy. And I said this, and I knew this was gonna happen. Bluepoint now has nothing. We all thought they were. Remember the rumors? Oh, they're remaking Metal Gear Solid 1. No. They're gonna remake Bloodborne. I even heard, nope, they're making a sequel to Bloodborne. I heard so much shit from people, about Bluepoint and what they're actually doing. But they were all single player games. Whether it's a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake of Bloodborne, or no, they're going to give them the opportunity to make Bloodborne 2. It was always something single player. Now, none of that was true. After after Demon Souls remake, apparently they supported a little bit of Ragnarok. I don't mind that too much. Give them more development experience on new games. All right. I could maybe see that. But to put them on a live service game and now cancel it, Bluepoint doesn't have anything now. Listen, Bluepoint doesn't have any projects. Even if they choose the path of least resistance, which is a remake, that is the path of least resistance. And they say, you know what? To get a game out as quickly as possible, you're going to remake Bloodborne. Everybody's going to love that. But the problem is, the soonest you will get to play that game is maybe 3 years. They'll probably get that done in 3 years. A full-blown remake. Because there's a lot of stuff they don't have to create from scratch in terms of concepts and ideas. The game is pretty much done. They just have to make it better with graphics, animations, gameplay, the whole area aesthetics, like what they did with Demon Souls. So Demon Souls remake was pretty fast. I think it only took them 2.5 years to make. So they could probably release Bloodborne remake quickly in 3 years. But do the math. 2025 plus 3 is 2028. So that is the absolute soonest you will see a Bluepoint game in 2028. 2028. And if the PlayStation 6 launches in 2028, then you might as well just say that's a PlayStation 6 launch title that is cross-gen with the PS5. So in reality, we got one Bluepoint game for the entire generation of the PS5. And if we do play a game on the PS5, or gamers do play a game on the PS5, chances are it's a cross-gen game. That's what you get from Bluepoint. Okay? Sony Ben, you get nothing. You're not getting anything for Sony Ben. Sony Ben has nothing. So even if they finally decide to make a Days Gone 2 sequel, even if they choose the path of least resistance, let's say Sony Ben chooses the path of least resistance, which is a remake, and they remake Days Gone again. Let's say Days Gone, that's the remake. They do a full-blown remake of Days Gone. Again, maybe 3 years, they'll get that out. 2028 title. So once again, you'll be playing a cross-gen title. If they do a new game, because let's say they had a new concept game in the background, and now they're going to work on that, at least 5 years for that new game. And guess what? Guess what? 2030. And there's more. There's more. Naughty Dog. We're finally going to play a new game for new consoles, because that's why we buy new consoles. We buy new consoles for new games. We don't buy new consoles for remasters, across the board and stuff. Sure, they're fine, but new games, right? Naughty Dog's new game is a 2026 game. We waited 6 years for a new Naughty Dog game. The Pro came out before a new Naughty Dog game. You see what I'm saying? Thank God. Thank God. Let me tell you something. This is the truth. This is no cap. This is the truth. Okay? This is the truth. Okay? PlayStation 5 gen is saved for the following reasons. I'm going to tell you what. PlayStation 5, right, is saved for the following reasons. Reason number one, Insomniac. Let's not lie. Insomniac's goated. Insomniac is goated. That's number one. Okay. Number two, cross-gen titles. Spider-Man. Miles Morales, right? Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, Forbidden West. Some of these huge big games were cross-gen with PS4. So that's two cross-gen games. So number one is Insomniac. Number two is cross-gen. Number three, Nintendo left the console space. Sure, it's a hybrid. Let's not fucking lie. They're primarily handheld. And because they're primarily handheld, they didn't get a lot of the third-party titles. Because if Nintendo would have launched a console, proper console, and that console sold 140 million, this whole gen would be a completely different story. With Nintendo controlling third-party titles. One of the reasons why they don't is because they don't have the power. Their hardware isn't built for that. So they pretty much let Sony have the market to gobble up all these third-party games. Right? So let's recap real quick. Number one, Insomniac. Number two, cross-gen. Number three, Nintendo bowed out of that space and focused on their own space. And then number four, and this is a big one, Xbox is dog shit. Xbox is dog shit. So look at the environment Sony's in. Sony looks good primarily because we really don't have good competitors. Let's all be honest. Because if we did, we would see more like, wait a minute, something's not right. And I would say number five, Sony is still smart with third-party deals. I give that too. They are smart with third-party deals. So they still got that. They still haven't fucked that up, surprisingly. So they've been very good with third-party deals and funding third-party projects. Like Stellar Blade, fantastic move on them taking over development costs to ensure that game comes out. Phantom Blade Zero, right? There's another one. Lost Soul Asides coming out this year. Okay, so, and we can name a bunch of other titles, right? Now, me personally, it's kind of like this. Puertorock's like, but Puertorock, aren't you glad they canceled? Yes, I'm glad I canceled, but it's kind of like this. A person wants to do something and you give them advice. Be like, don't do it. Are you a fucking idiot? Don't do it, man. And you're like, bro, don't do it. This shit is stupid. They go do it. Then they come back to you, be like, man, I should listen to you. Don't you get pissed off? And you're like, bro, I freaking told you. That's what's going on right now. We are pissed off because we knew this shit was going to happen. We knew this shit was going to happen. And that's why we're pissed off. We're pissed off because we're right. Because in the end, it impacts us. We knew this shit was going to happen. We knew this live service bullshit was stupid. And people just kept coming at me. But the business. This is what really pisses me off. I'm going to show you something. This, I'll be honest, got me fuming when I saw this. And I posted this. I'm going to show y'all. This got me fuming. This right here got me heated. Right? Because everybody's saying PlayStation want this. The data shows. It's all the data. Business. I'm going to show you something. Let me see if I could zoom in real quick. I hope I can do this. All right. I think this is the biggest I can show you, right? But on the bottom right here to the right, if you can see, to the right, to the left. Yes, left, right, left. Your other left, devil. Right here. Helldivers is ranked 15th. All right, cool. It's in the top 15. But why the fuck are there more PlayStation gamers playing goddamn Mortal Kombat 1 than Helldivers? Y'all the one asking for this shit, and y'all about to play Mortal Kombat 1. Goddamn WWE is top 10. I need to know how the fuck is Helldivers losing to fucking wrestling? Who the fuck plays WWE? 2K24. I didn't even know they had a new one. The fuck is that? Are you fucking kidding me? WWE 2K24 is egregiously beating the shit out of Helldivers 2. If you can't fucking get more hours than WWE, then who the fuck are you gonna beat in this shit? And who the fuck is still playing Mortal Kombat 1? That fucking shit looks like trash. That pissed me the fuck off. Everybody's telling me this is the game, this is the shit. When it hits, it hits. Helldivers 2 hit, and it's getting smoked by Mortal Kombat. It's getting smoked by WWE. Look at the top 10 games that is really spitting on PlayStation. Fortnite, of course. Call of Duty Headquarters, of course. Grand Theft Auto 5 Remastered, of course. Marvel Rivals, okay, a new game comes up, but it's third party. It's not a first party game. NBA 2K25, of course. Roblox, of course. College Football 25, of course. Madden 25, of course. That shit's funny. You got two games out of the same shit. Back to back. Crazy. Minecraft, of course. WWE 2K24. Got WWE up in here, whooping Hellblade's ass. WWE, yo, you got more 2K titles in the top 10 than you do first place from first party. You don't even see Gran Turismo on this shit. Where the hell's MLB The Show? Like, what the fuck is happening here? 2K, right now, 2K, right? They got Grand Theft Auto because that falls under 2K, right? Take-Two. Well, Take-Two falls under Take-Two. Grand Theft Auto falls under Take-Two via Rockstar. So that's one title. And WWE's 2K. That falls under Take-Two. So you got two games from Take-Two in PlayStation Top 10 before you even get one from PlayStation themselves. So by all means, please show me the data. Gamers want PlayStation multi-light service games. Oh, but on the PS3, bro, you letting, what's that shit called? When your memory is like, fuck, nostalgia. You letting nostalgia fuck you over. Bro, everybody was playing Call of Duty on PS3. MAG was not the super big hit. That game sold like 700,000. After Killzone 2, that shit bombed with Killzone 3. And Shadowfall Launch on PS4, that shit bombed too. Let's not even talk about SOCOM, how that shit fell off. Even Warhawk, when Warhawk went from, Starhawk. Not a lot of people playing Starhawk. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I think the reason why you guys look at PlayStation 3 multiplayer so big was because PlayStation 3 launched bad. It was bad. We all know it was bad. So once they just started throwing everything in the kitchen sink, we just enjoyed a bigger, robust library. But them games was not spitting hard. Right? The multiplayer game that was spitting hard was the sports games, of course. The Maddens, of course, right? But then Call of Duty. Let's not play and say Modern Warfare didn't smoke everything. Everybody was playing Modern Warfare. Come on now, we all know that. The PlayStation third party on PS3 was not that popping. Right? We're using nostalgia. We're using a whole different metric, right? But right now, Helldivers is the successful game, and it's getting smoked by WWE. How is a wrestling game? How is Mortal Kombat 1? That Rainbow Six Siege, all right, I get it. Rocket League, I get it. Dragon Ball? Sparkling Zero? Is it really that popping? Is Dragon Ball that popping? Is Dragon Ball really that popping over Helldivers? Helldivers can't beat Dragon Ball. Anime Squad is killing it, bro. Anime Squad is killing it, bro. Sparkling Zero. Killing democracy. We really doing this. And this is, Helldivers is literally the template for successful live service game. And you're getting smoked by WWE. Get the fuck out of here. See, look on the right side of the list. Steam. Helldivers is actually ranked 4. Helldivers, look at this. The number 1 game on Steam is Marvel Rivals. Number 2 is Counter-Strike. Number 3 is Path of Exile. Absolutely, Counter-Strike 2 has always been a top game. Marvel Rivals, the new hotness, all right? And Path of Exile 2 is the new hotness. That's a PC game, right? That people love that game. Then comes Helldivers 2. And Helldivers 2, look at all the games Helldivers 2 is beating. It's beating Balatro. It's beating Rocket League. It's beating Warframe. Helldivers is beating Power. See, this, if this Steam list was the PlayStation list, then I'll believe you guys. Then I'll be like, man, you guys are right. Puertorock, me, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I mean, goddamn, look at all the games Helldivers is smoking on PC. It's smoking Rocket League, smoking Warframe. It's beating the shit out of Power World, bro. It's beating the shit out of Call of Duty. Helldivers is smoke checking Call of Duty on PC. Bro, I'm about to be a PC fanboy just so I could talk shit. I'd be like, Helldivers is smoking Call of Duty. Fuck you and your Call of Duty. That game is trash. Oh no, look. Number 4, look at Call of Duty. Number 9, garbage. But you can't do that on a PlayStation console. I can't talk shit about Call of Duty. I should have been a Steam fanboy. I'm about to be a Steam fanboy. Because I could talk. Listen, if we do publisher wars, I'm going with Steam. I'm not doing this. I'm Team Steam. Because I could smoke a motherfucker on that platform. Like, fuck. Helldivers played more than Call of Duty. Are you out your mind? So PC gamers get to say we want more PlayStation first party live service game. They could actually hype that shit. Yo, Call of Duty is 9 on Steam, while Helldivers is 4. And keep in mind, PlayStation cut half the population of Helldivers by forcing a login. So they cut half the population of Steam all around the world. So who knows? If Sony would have just left the login alone and be like, you know what? No login. The whole world can play Helldivers, this one game. Who knows how much more higher Helldivers in? We bugging here. This shit is wild. Who else? All right, so Call of Duty's number 9. Baldur's Gate 10, but it's a single player game. Of course, it's going to drop. In fact, it's pretty impressive that it's still the 10th place most played game. Delta Force 2024. I don't know what the fuck that is, but guess what? It's number 11, and Helldivers whooping Delta Force's ass. Cyberpunk 2077, War Thunder, World of Planes. Holy shit, you guys. Dota 2? Yo, Helldivers is smoking Dota 2. How the fuck? Helldivers on PC smoking Dota 2. Bro, you might as well just give Helldivers 2 to the PC guys. That shit ain't a PlayStation game. Y'all might as well just stop. That's a game for PC Master Race. Let's just stop. All right? On console, fucking WWE is smoking Helldivers. Let's just stop the cap. Let's just stop the cap with this whole PlayStation console gamers want more live service games from Sony. They don't. We don't. We do not. The few that do, you're tiny. You're a niche group. You're tiny. You're teeny, tiny, tiny. The people who play WWE is a bigger group than you guys. I'm sorry. More people, more WWE guys are going to smoke you guys when it comes to this. So let's just stop. There's no data. We just cut the cap, bro. Let's just cut the cap. All right? We know. We enjoyed PlayStation 4. If there was ever a time for Sony to actually do this, right? If there was ever a time for Sony to actually do this, it should have been last gen. Last gen was when the live service startup was happening and everybody was doing it, and then everybody was trying to build a niche. Sony should have done it last gen. That was the gen to do all this shit, and then let the gamers formulate where they're gonna play it. Now it's too late. You're gonna have multiple failures before you find another success. And the question is, how many studios gotta close down to chase another lightning in a bottle? And the one lightning bottle that you did get, you're getting smoked by a wrestling game. You can't even consistently be at least top 5. You know what I'm saying? Helldivers should be at least top 5. It should be among the top 5, especially as a PlayStation first party title. They should be top 5. You definitely should not be getting your ass smoked. I mean, fuck, even Microsoft got 2 top 5 games. I mean, granted, Call of Duty's theirs, but legitimately, let's say Minecraft, even though they bought that there, but even Minecraft is top 10 on PlayStation. Like, shit. Your number one lightning in a bottle, and you're getting smoked by Mortal Kombat. You're getting smoked by Dragon Ball. You're getting smoked by WWE. You're getting smoked by Minecraft. Everybody's smoking your ass. Everybody. All of y'all getting this work. But yet on PC, Helldivers put in that work. beating out Warframe, beating out. I thought Power was the biggest game of the year on PC. Apparently not. Helldivers is like, nah, son, we got this. Democracy reigns. Come on, bro. We got to stop this. Right? Shout out to Bobo Country. So there was no pandemic, right? It's the same craziness that messed up the election. Are we all forgetting that the world was shut down for 2 years? So I know. So, all right. So, Country. Unless the person who said it was a great idea to have Bluepoint make a God of War live service game, if that person was affected by COVID and he was in a hospital bed, then okay, I'll forgive that person. The dude was delirious. He was about to die. But no, that's not a COVID thing. That has nothing to do with COVID. That has to do with stupidity. Bro, somebody said in a room, I got a great idea. Bluepoint, start making a God of War live service game. Somebody did that. That's not COVID. That's not a pandemic. That's just straight stupid. That is straight. I don't even want to say the word because you can't even say those words anymore. But that's just straight special. That shit is crazy. That has nothing to do with pandemic. Right? Telling Sony Ben, hey, you're going to do a live service game. That has nothing to do with pandemic. That's just a business decision that was terrible. And now they cancel the projects and those studios got nothing. They got nothing. They got nothing in the pipeline. They have to start doing something now. And again, the earliest, using the path of least resistance, the earliest we're going to see something from them is 2028. And that's a remake. That's a remake. Absolute remake. That's the earliest. That's not a pandemic thing. You know, during the pandemic, they could still have ensured when Bluepoint finished Demon Souls remake, a decision could have been made. Either remake Bloodborne or maybe make a Bloodborne sequel. Me personally, the safer bet to give Bluepoint more reps, I would have said, we're going to remake Bloodborne. Because everyone's asking for 60 FPS. Everybody's asking for that. And they did such a beautiful job with Demon Souls. I am telling you, no one would hate on a Bloodborne remake. Everybody would absolutely love it. It would be absolutely love. Everybody would love it. A Bloodborne remake, everyone would love it. And it would have been already out or at a minimum out this year. Who here would be mad at a release date of Bloodborne remake this year in 2025? Tell me, any of y'all would be mad? Who would have been mad? Right? And for Sony Ben, right? Because I understand. Days Gone, tricky situation, right? What I would have done with Sony Ben is, you know what? We're going to play a little safe, but we're going to test all this conversations we're hearing about PlayStation games saying bring back some of the old stuff and make it new. Because even Yoshida admitted that. He said some of the biggest requests he heard was Legend of Dragoon, and he mentioned 2 other games that they want back, right? SOCOM was another one. So there is no hidden secret that a lot of PlayStation gamers across social media wants to see some of the classics have a remake, brand new. I would have tested that from the start. I would be like, Sony Ben, we're going to test this theory, and you're going to remake Siphon Filter. Brand new, built from the ground up. You know, because we don't really have, like, you know, those stealth action type games, right? Usually Metal Gear would be the one to do it. We haven't had a Metal Gear. I mean, the new remake's coming out soon, but we haven't had as much. There's no, what's that game called? That Ubisoft makes. The other stealth action. Splinter Cell. There's no Splinter Cell. We haven't had a Splinter Cell in a minute, right? We haven't had a Splinter Cell in a hot minute. We haven't really had a Metal Gear new stuff, so Siphon Filter could fill that void. But we're going to play a little bit safe, start from scratch, remake, going to bring our old classic that definitely deserves a remake, and we'll see how it goes. And then at that point, it's on us PlayStation guys to buy it if it's good. Can't talk trash about, oh, you got to bring the classics, and then when they make the classics, no one buys it. So It's a good tense. It's a good benchmark. Great benchmark. And depending on the success of Siphon Filter, because at the end of the day, there's what we say on Twitter, social media, and then there's what we do when we actually buy games. If that game's a hit, let's pick another game. Let's pick another game, Sony Ben. We could go straight to we could do one of two things. We could go straight to Siphon Filter 2, or what I would do is, this is what I would do with Sony Ben. I'd be like, we want you to make God of War 1 remake, but in the new style that is God of War 2018 Ragnarok. We'll see how that works. You see what I'm saying? Little by little, I will start pushing those little things. We got our single player games. Other studios that Sony purchased, acquired to do live service, leave them alone. If they failed, they failed. But this shit is wild. Shout out to Liquidata. Oh no, let me first do Tommy Bull. Sony made over $1 billion from Helldivers 2 and lost $200 million on Concord. I think they're still inclined to make live games. I think they'll be more careful. They need to, my opinion, and I said this before. In fact, I mentioned this. This is my opinion, and I said this before. And I'll show you a Twitter post I did. This is how I think Sony should go forward. This is my opinion. But what the fuck do I know? I don't know shit. This is it. Get the fuck back here. No. Come back. Here we go. Click. There we go. All right. For me, and I said this in September, Fair Games is probably too far into cancel. So that game is launching. Hopefully it's successful. Because if that game bombs, oh my god. Beyond that, just stick with Bungie, since they are primarily your live service studio, and shut everything else down. I put everything else down. That's how pissed off I'm about this live service strategy. The worst shit is in my brain. Is shut everything else down. Bungie is your live service studio. You cannot change them into single player. Let them be. Cool. Number one, just do small investments in the most popular third-party live service games to get the majority to play on PlayStation, like they normally do. Get exclusive map pass, exclusive stuff, things like that. Get more people to say, you know what? I want to play Call of Duty on PlayStation. I want to play Madden on PlayStation. I want to play Fortnite on PlayStation. I want to play Apex. I want to play Marvel Rivals on PlayStation. Just let them, because that's why everybody's playing anyway. Goddamn, they're playing WWE more than Helldivers. Just let them. Just focus on the shit the gamers actually are going after, and do things to make PlayStation gamers or any gamer want to play on PlayStation as best as possible. So that's number one. Number two, put more focus on the studios that got PlayStation back to its highest success. Grow them the way they can handle more than just one AAA project every 5 years. Okay? What I mean by that is Sony Ben should not just have one team. The fact that this game got canceled and now they're trying to figure out what to do is wrong. They should have invested at a minimum where Sony Ben can have Team A and Team B. Team A, let's say Team A was a live service game. Okay, yeah, we shutting that shit down. Cool. Team B is still on the pipeline. Team A help Team B augment to get the game out faster, or start on a new project, but that's okay. Team B is about to have their game and it'll come out in 2025, 2026, whatever. Right? That's what they should have done. Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch should have grown, doubled in size to have another complete team. So you have the team that's doing Ghost of Yotai, and maybe you have a new team doing a new Infamous or a completely new IP. It shouldn't just be Ghost of Yotai. That should not be the only game they're making. Because after they release that game, you're not going to see another game for like 4 years, 5 years from them. You see what I'm saying? That it's kind of like Naughty Dog. Even though live service games screwed up, they still have more than enough people to work on Intergalactic Heretic Prophet, and they have another single player game working because they have multiple teams. That's what they should have done. That's what should have happened. Sony should invest in these studios to be like, listen, these studios was what put us on the map. They was what made PlayStation 4 successful. They put the name, the branding, the name PlayStation Studios up on the map. We have to get more output from them, and we get more output by doubling them up. You understand? Says, Puertorock, where was that chart you made a few months ago showing the cycle of game production? Man, you know what? Yeah, that chart was genius. You know what? Let me see if I got that. I don't know if I got that. Let me see. Do I still have that chart? Let me see. I don't think I have that chart. Shit. That was an amazing chart. That was a good chart. Let me see if I have that chart. I don't think I do, man. I think yeah, it was damn. I don't think I have that chart, man. I don't know what I did with it, man. I don't know what I did with it, man. Let me see. Hold on. I know what you're talking about. Because what I did was I made a chart on the floor cycle of how to um let me see. Is this it? No, this ain't it. That ain't it. That's not it. That's not it. Fuck. Um Shit. Let me see. Is it in my documents folder? No, man, I don't have that chart. Why did I delete it? That was stupid of me if I deleted it. Either I deleted it or I don't know where I put it. I think I deleted it. But there, that was a good chart. I'm gonna have to do that chart again and keep it this time. Yeah, sorry, brother, but thank you for reminding me. But yeah, man, that sucks. I don't really have that. Let me see. Shit. My bad. So what I did was I did a PowerPoint and I explained, my view of how Sony could adjust the pipeline. Oh, let me do this continuous super chat. We got Liquid Data. Says SoCal fell off because it tried to be like COD with SoCal 4 multiplayer. That is true. That is true. You should, like, absolutely true. SoCal 4, that shit was third person Call of Duty. And that's not what people wanted. And then finally Sci-Fi Filter. And he guessed it, right? But the picture this, right? Picture we'll use Sony Ben, right? We'll use Sony Ben. And let's say Sony goes, okay, we're going to double up Sony Ben. Now you have Team A, Team B. Okay? They get started on Project 1, the first project. So Team A, Team B, let's say to get the initial startup going, Team A and Team B both start working on Project 1. Then 3 years into the gen, Team B separates themselves, right? And they start their own project now. Now they're into their own project. Team A is continuing with Project 1, right? Team B is doing Project 2. Team A is working on Project 2. Let's say it takes 6 years. We'll use 6 years. So they spend the next 3 years finishing up Project 1. It releases in 6 years. While they were releasing the last 3 years of Project 1, Team B is now in the middle of Project 2. They're 3 years deep into it. Team 1 finishes Project 1. It releases, right? And now they move on to their new project, right? And 3 years into the new project, they have a 3-year development. But Team 2, they're finalizing their 6-year project. But the thing is, by the time their project comes out, it's only been 3 years since the last Sony Ben project. So it took 6 years to make one game. Then 3 years later, the next game released. And then 3 years later, the next game released. They're all taking 6 years to make, but because you have two teams, it's staggered. This is pretty much how they got called. This is pretty much how they are able to release Call of Duty every year, because they have like 3-4 teams making it. So one team is taking 3-4 years to make Call of Duty. Every team is taking 3-4 years, whatever, to make Call of Duty. But by the time you hit the 4th year, it comes out. So every time a Call of Duty comes out, that's that team's 4th year into development and stuff like this, man. But you can't do that if you don't grow your first party. Like Sony Ben could never do that, you know. Insomniac has multiple teams. In fact, they have 2 studios, one in the West Coast, Insomniac, in Santa Monica, and people don't realize they have another studio in the East Coast in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. People don't know they have a major studio in North Carolina. And that's why they're able to produce so much. They got two major studios. It's not even teams, two studios separately. They got a Raleigh Durham studio and they got a Santa Monica West Coast studio. And that's why Insomniac is able to be like bow, 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 bow. They on point. You know? Now I'm not saying Sony should just build, Sony Ben's out in Oregon, right? Who the fuck knows what they're doing in Oregon? Them motherfuckers on methamphetamine. Who the hell makes a studio in Oregon? But they're out in Oregon, high on meth and fentanyl and shit. And then say build a studio in Texas. I'm not saying that, right? But in their facilities, they should have two major teams, Team A, Team B. And that's how you're able to get more output in games, right? Because the way I see it, maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'm wrong on how I look at the gaming industry. But I look at the gaming industry when a new console comes out and all these new technologies comes out, they have to learn and they spend a lot of money on the tools and all the stuff they need to get it done, right? They spend money on people to hire for ray tracing and all that stuff. So they're spending all this upfront cost to get all this stuff, and then they start working on the game, right? To me, it's like an airplane. An airplane makes money when it's up in the air. When the airplane lands, it's not making no money. The money in the airplane is when it's up in the air. So to me, the money for a studio is when they release games, right? So if you invest in a studio and they get all these tools and they get all these talents for ray tracing, one game every generation or maybe two games per generation, that's not enough money, in my opinion, from that studio. I need that studio to pump out 3 or 4 games. But I understand one studio can't do that. So that's where you double up. You get these two teams and they leapfrog, right? Obviously, the first project is the first project that you learn everything, right? You learn the ray tracing, you learn the physics, you start really investing in the hardware, and you start doing all this stuff. But the second game is where you start making money. The third game is when you really make money. And if you're able to make a fourth, cakewalk. Hell, you might even be able to produce the games faster because you just know more and stuff like that, right? It just starts flowing. Everything just starts kicking. The first game is the hardest, right? Because you're trying to implement all the new stuff. The second game is more well optimized. The third game's even better. Fourth game, stuff like that, right? That's what Sony should have done. Number 3, continue your hero projects looking for new talent in China, Korea, Africa, Middle East. Let them be the new generation developers that produce amazing single-player games. And they are doing that. I know they're expanding in Africa and the Middle East, so they are doing that. So at least they're doing number 3. Out of all that, they are doing number 3. Phantom Blade Zero we're getting. Lost Soul Aside, thank God we're getting that. Stellar Blade was amazing. They invested in Team Ninja to bring out Rise of Ronin. So even though that's not a new studio, but we get the hint. They have no problems doing that, and they are doing that. They are investing in the not so common gaming space around the globe, and we're gonna benefit for that. We're gonna get Phantom Blade Zero. In fact, next Tuesday, 60 Frames No Lag might have a different time on Tuesday. Might be earlier because the gameplay deep dive is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And the podcast usually goes at 8:30 p.m., like a half hour later. So we might start the podcast a few minutes later before the deep dive. So we can check out that game. But anyway, I hate to say I knew it. It's like that dude Chaos. I knew it. I knew this was gonna be bad, man. Sony, bro. They canceled this, got it. Y'all canceled this bullshit, got it. And hopefully y'all just leave this shit alone, bro. Just leave this bullshit alone. Just leave it alone. Like minimize. You can't even beat wrestling. Minimize this bullshit. Just minimize it. Keep it down to a minimal. You got Bungie. Bungie's huge. Let them be primarily your live service studio. You don't need more. If Fair Game succeeds, cool. Nurture that. And Helldivers, put more energy into helping them. They succeeded. They deserve whatever they want. Put the Chimera from Resistance as the next enemy. Whatever. Just fully support what you have. Because clearly on the console, Helldivers getting his ass whooped by WWE. At least PC gamers are playing the shit out of it. But give Helldivers the props. That's your lightning in a bottle. Bungie, that studio is built for live service. So you don't have a choice. All right. Keep them going what they're doing. Fair Games. The name of... That's it. And leave it at that. Don't do no more. Don't do no more. Don't do no more. You don't need to do no more. Right? Get back to the rhythm. It's just sad that some studios, they won't be around till PlayStation 6. It is what it is. Sony Band and Bluepoint, we'll see you guys during the PlayStation 6 gen because you guys are washed for PlayStation 5. Donnell Brown, I am going to pull up on your show one day when I have a Tuesday off. So you better be ready for the shit talking. You better not be bringing your bullshit Raiders. All right? Don't even do it. You're in the same boat as we are. At least we got, fifth pick. I don't even know what pick Raiders got. And don't bring up the Dodgers. That's old shit. That's old news, bro. But nah, on the real though. Brother, down now you know you are more than welcome to come through. All right? You know, listen, Sony, I'm retiring. If you need somebody to straighten out that ship and jaw check the stupidity that's going on, hit me up. I'll send you my resume. Because this nonsense, someone needs to right the ship. All right? So hit me up. All right? But anyway, this is your only friend. This is YouTube Streets Puertorock77. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little live, this impromptu live. I think I might go live tomorrow because I do want to talk about Nintendo, but not today. Not today. Not after this bullshit. Not after this bullshit. Not after this. Not today. Today was not the day. But we'll talk about it tomorrow, okay? If this is the first time watching this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys. I'll let you know when most likely I'll pull up and do another live with you guys, all right? You guys take care. Hey, enjoy your weekend. Hey, this weekend's for the Americans is Inauguration Day. Let the games begin. Peace.